How's it going, guys? So today's July the 8th, and we got the concrete guys here to start pouring our robot pathway and bin pad. We're gonna have a concrete lane running the whole way down to those two barns, as well as up that direction to the milking barn. They're starting right here at the feed room. Dropping down, there's a thicker pad right here for some grain bins. They cut off the edge of this floor. There was kind of a lip there where the garage door came down. They wanted to be able to make this a smooth transition so the robot could drive across it easily. I missed the start of the concrete pouring because we had to help this cow. She didn't want to stand up in her stall for some reason. But we just gave her an IV of calcium and now she is walking, looking a lot better already. Not sure what happened. Just chased her from the free stall outside over to the bed pack. It's extremely hot out here. I don't know if she just got hit with some stress and then for some reason couldn't stand up. This summer's been the hottest summer that I can remember. It's only beginning of July. We've already had extremely hot weather for several weeks now. The cows are hanging in there, but it's starting to get a little old. Wanted to show you guys what this field's looking like right now. Mid-afternoon. This is one of the worst looking fields that we have, but either way, all of our corn's starting to really shrivel up now during the day. Just protecting itself from the heat. This stuff would definitely be a lot taller if we were getting rain. It's kind of just sitting and waiting now. This is a 114-day corn, so it's not pushing tassels yet, but a lot of our corn's starting to tassel, and it's not looking quite as tall as it normally does when it tassels. There's some good chances of rain this week, and we're really hoping we get some nice rain. I don't think we're looking at a failure yet or anything, but it's getting to the point where we're gonna need some rain soon or things are gonna look pretty rough. We were getting some decent moisture early in the year, but we haven't had a real solid rain in a few weeks, and it's been very hot, so just sucking that moisture out of the plants. Hey guys, so it's the next day. Got this first section poured yesterday. It's looking pretty good. Now we're working at forming up down towards the dry cow barn. They're getting these forms set up. The lane kind of dips down just a little bit in here because we want to be able to let water run across it to that drain there. Made the concrete a little thicker in that area too because tractors are going to be driving across it for filling silo. Putting stone in now. Trying to get a couple inches underneath the concrete. Well, my day just got a whole lot better. It's a nice thunderstorm that went north of us like an hour ago. Kind of disappointing to see that pop up and not hit us. And then there was nothing coming on the radar. Now it's just dumping. It just popped up. Pretty heavy storm right now. I was just standing out in the rain. I'm soaked now, but just need it so bad. We're getting a nice shower. I don't know what it'll end up being, but it's a great start. Soaking our concrete. We're getting stone laid in, and they were gonna start putting rebar in, but I guess they just left. It's raining, but they'll pour this tomorrow at some point. See if our storm drain's doing some work yet. So there we go. See how our grass is looking. Everything's brown. And this is gonna green some stuff up, I think. See if our drain pipe is doing some work. Yeah, so it's a little muddy. Once we're done with all this construction, we're gonna have some cleaner water coming out of there, I think. Keeping the mess off the driveways and keeping things from eroding so much. Just heads out the waterway and it bottoms out there. There's no stream or anything that it runs into. That's one thing about our farm, just bottoms out and it actually gets a little higher towards the end of the waterway there. So any water off of our property ends up sinking into the ground and filtering, so that's good. I am just completely soaked, but I don't care. Couldn't be happier. We're gonna get some hay and stuff that washes in here and sawdust, but it should clear out with those smooth pipes and how big the pipes are. They should stay clear. They were able to get enough slope that the water moves pretty fast through them. Our property is pretty flat from this area to the waterway back there. There's not a whole lot of drop, so they got this box as low as we could reasonably get it to still have some slope. How hard it rained there, we got quite a bit of puddling. The robot lane is going to be in here, so this is going to be higher, and then we're going to be able to grade that a little bit better that way to get water flowing. Just got about 5 inches of concrete here, just over the silo footer, and then it dips down to about 10 inches thick across the area where the tractors will be driving. We just have 5 inches or so the whole way up through. Then we're not going to be running big equipment through this area. Basically just going to be reserved for the robot, just attaching onto this pad they poured the other day. We ended up getting 8/10 of an inch yesterday, kind of out of nowhere. We're super thankful for that. Storm was super spotty because just 10 minutes that way west of us they didn't get any rain at all, so we're really thankful. But there's a lot of neighbors that still need rain, so really hoping we get some more widespread storms this week, especially west and south of us. It's nice when you get some, but then I know what it's like when a storm goes right beside you too. It's really frustrating. Get ready for the next section now. I'm bringing stone around now, get some stone underneath before they start to form up. Just digging out a little bit, didn't have to do too much here. So they're getting their form set up for that last pour towards the heifer barn. They'll be pouring that tomorrow morning. So now Dad's starting to dig out for the lane coming up this direction. The lane's gonna come up and across kind of the front of the bunker silo there. That way it's not such a steep hill up to this pad. So then it'll come straight up this way and then also continue on out to the freestall. just 5 inches thick out through this area. We're not going to be running big equipment on it, putting rebar in it though, so it'll hold up really good. We were going to run it closer to the end of the building, decided to bring it this way a little bit just to keep it away from that drain so it's not such a steep drop off. Also for manure hauling, just making sure the tankers aren't driving on this lane. They finished up that pour and they had a little over a yard of extra concrete, so just fit it in. We had extra concrete in another project we were doing, put a little bit. Now we're finishing out this area so we can turn with the skid loader outside. There's a reason we didn't try to tackle this entire concrete project ourselves. We could definitely build some lanes, but would they be perfect? Probably not. A big part of the cost is just the concrete and the rebar, so kind of worth it to pay someone to help us actually get it installed properly. Working at digging out the pathway up past the bunkers. This ground is extremely hard. Using the jackhammer just to loosen it up a little bit. We're getting close now. Put the stone in. I get the easy job. It's like 85 degrees today and it feels cool. That's how hot it's been lately. I'll take some concrete up across this lane. We're going 10 inches thick where all the traffic's gonna be. Manure spreaders, forage wagons, feed trucks. Okay guys, they're done for the day now. Got forms set up a good ways up there. It's Thursday afternoon. They're calling for some rain tomorrow, so they're not gonna work. So we ended up having some storms move through last night and we got another inch of rain. It was another spotty thunderstorm. They got a little bit more widespread rain, but we got hit pretty good. Down here, they were working at this a little bit today. Cut out 2 layers of block at this junction box for our water lines. So they're gonna pour a little bit of a curb to get this up a little, and then they're making a lid for it too. The only question was, I thought that was gonna be a little thicker. I wanna make sure we can drive over it with tractors and stuff. I think we might wanna drop that curb and then make this 2 inches thicker. So this concrete's set, but we can't be driving on it for a little bit. Dad's gonna feed the dry cows right now, so I'm gonna tell him when to stop. Just back the wheels up right to the edge here. The nice thing with our mixer is we can run it out either side. Normally we run off the right side, but here you can back in and run the belt the opposite direction. Once we get the lane poured up in front of the freestall, it's going to be even more of a pain because we can't get in the end of the freestall barn with it and can't get to the bunker silo without going around. All right. So this mixer is designed to be able to slide the belt back and forth, but you need a third remote on the tractor to run that function, so it's actually slid this way a little bit, but it still works. He's just driving a little bit closer. We redid the front corner of this barn because the concrete was breaking down a little bit. They didn't have tile on hand, so just did a smooth finish to the concrete, and that'll work fine. Stuck a new post in the concrete. We just had this sitting around. Maybe we can cut these hinge pieces off, but just to protect that corner a little bit. So we had old concrete in this area. It dropped down. It's kind of breaking down and uneven. We just tore that all out last week. Wasn't really going to work to run the robot over it, and we decided the best thing to do was just to get this higher so that it's a little bit above that scrape alley. That way it'll keep all the manure in the barn. So it drops down a few inches right there. That'll just keep it cleaner out here. This barn's actually slightly sloped this direction because we used to scrape it all this way. Now we're scraping it that way. Just had them fill in this corner nice. This is just 5 inches of concrete, but we got it up good so that the water's gonna run off of it. And then this area, they just cut this concrete off a little bit, made it so that the water will work its way that direction. This lane we kept nice and high, just level the whole way out through. We'll grade the driveway that way to that drain box we put in, and then this way it'll drain down towards the other drain box. So this looks really good. We did a broom finish on the concrete, want to keep it kind of grippy. For the robot, they don't want more than a 5% slope driving up or down. Worked out pretty well. There's a slight hill, but this isn't very steep. We have it dipping down slightly there. We wanted to get it lower in the middle so that we could have water draining across it this way. So once we get that cover made, we'll get this graded. Just keep that water away from the silos. Kind of right in the middle, we'll split it. We'll run water that direction and this direction. It won't really be a problem for the robot. There'll be some water running across, but it'll still be fine. The lane has a 1% tilt to it there, so it'll clear water off of it. It's not gonna puddle on top of the lane there at all. They did a nice job making this work. I think that was the right way to do it. I'd like to at some point get some concrete or pavement in this area so that when we have a mess when we're filling silo, we can easily clean it up. For now, we'll just get some stones in there. So this is just a slight grade up through. It'll make the turn. There's gonna be 2 feeding robots, and the way they're planning to park them is on the right. There's gonna be one charging there, and then the fill station is gonna be in the back of the feed room. So they're gonna drive in and out through this side of the door. So we wanted to set this up that it comes outside, and then there'll be one point where it can decide which route it's going, if it's gonna go right angle towards the lower barns or just straight ahead towards the main barn. So they wanted a little bit more of a straight path out of that decision point, and then it'll make that 45-degree angle up through another 45, and then there'll be a couple paths to get to the 2 different entrances to the main barn. Not sure if I'll film any more tomorrow if we're doing anything interesting, but I'll explain more why we're making the lane the way we are in the future once we get it all poured. All right, thanks for watching, guys. Did a little bit of concrete in here today too. My dad put that in there. Got the hydrant solid now. All right, guys, thanks for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.